Most part still intact and shit. They ready to book. They got hit with.
Is that the extent of the division is stark.
Almost a civil war, right, left, religious, others.
An estimated 300,000 citizens marching Saturday.
Nobody wants to listen, dude.
The Jewish society to find a common base.
Nobody's listening
for their idea of what a Jewish state means.
Right.
To understand this tension, we have to look at the groups that make up Israeli society. The largest group are the Heloni, the so-called secular Jews, making up 40 to 50% of the population. They dominate Israel's tech sector and form the backbone of the economy and the military. They're generally non-religious Zionists and see being Jewish as a cultural identity and Israel as a liberal democracy with Western values.
How are you even a secular Zionist? You're just a racist at that point. You're just a Jewish supremacist at that point. Because you don't even got the fairy tales from the book to back up your story about, God promised us this land. You don't even believe in God. Or at the very least, you don't believe in this book like it's the literal, actual truth. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, well, you literally are just on some like Nazi shit at that point. It's just like, nah, we better than them. We deserve all their shit. We supposed to take all of that. That's all ours. Why? Because we said so. They don't believe that God promised them no shit 2,000 years ago or however long ago they say that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Those are really the worst ones, the secular Zionists. And that's essentially what Bibi is. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a religious Jew.
No democracy, no high-tech. Under this slogan, hundreds of those working in the Tel Avivian high-tech sector.
We're the ones supporting all of the taxes that are not paid by other groups in the Israeli society.
At the opposite end of the spectrum are the Haredi. They're the ultra-Orthodox and most conservative.
Only around half work official jobs, and though they contribute fewer taxes,
fucking bums.
They're often entitled to more state support because of their low income.
Since Israel's founding, military service has been mandatory for most Jews.
But
the Haredis were exempt if they were in full-time religious studies.
Wow.
Based on a long-standing grievance, the inequality between the ultra-Orthodox and other parts of Israel.
So they don't even really believe in that shit either. They just ducking the draft. They're just ducking their military service and trying to live off the state, right? These are welfare goblins.
Society.
They don't have to endanger their life for the security of this country, but it should be stopped.
Tens of thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jewish protesters streamed to Jerusalem on Thursday, demonstrating against efforts to conscript seminary students into Israel's armed forces.
רוצים לעקור את הישיבות, לשלוח את הבחורים לצבא שתחת שלטונם.
Between these two groups are the religious Zionists. Unlike the Haredim, they are deeply committed to the state and strongly represented in the military. But their vision of Israel is not secular. They think that the land was given to Jews by divine right and that Israel is a religious project. They have risen to power through people like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and are at the forefront of settlement expansion.
Now, these ones are the most dangerous because they believe that this shit was gifted to them by God, and ain't nothing more dangerous than a nigga that think some voice in the sky told him some shit. Ain't no more dangerous than that. The first one, they the most evil because they don't even believe in the story. They're just supremacists. The other ones, well, they're just welfare babies. They don't even want to do shit. They just want a free lunch. These dudes, they the most dangerous because they believe God told them to do it.
They willing to die
These
for this
elected
shit.
representatives of the religious far right took office at the beginning of 2023. Benjamin Netanyahu entered an alliance with them to come back as prime minister.
עלו נעלה וירשנו כי יכול נוכל לה.
Let's take possession of the land. We will be victorious. Bro, just like, ain't they doing the same shit to Ukraine? Why are we supporting that shit with Israel, but we're making a big deal when Russia does it?
Money, leverage, I don't know, man.
And Democrats and Republicans, they've been on this shit, bro, forever. You know what I'm saying? We can't even just put this all on Trump, because when Democrats were in office, they were sending them money too. You know what I mean? So it's like, how are we backing Ukraine and Israel at the same time when they are like antithetical in their motivations?
And violence in the occupied West Bank, already high, have been rising further.
Their rhetoric and policies made the carefully cultivated image as a liberal democracy increasingly difficult to buy.
Yo!
All these groups are not just culturally different, they live in different delusions of what the settler colony is. And this exploded in 2023.
For months, millions of progressive Israelis took to the streets to fight what they called a coup d'etat.
In early 2023, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu introduced sweeping judicial reforms that would weaken the Supreme Court.
צריך להבין שהמהפכה המשטרית הזאת נשענת במדינת ישראל על תנועה גזענית, פשיסטית, בן גביר, סמוטריץ', אנשים שרואים בעצמם עליונים מעצם זה שהם יהודים.
Hey, so look, even in Israel, you got some woke Jews, man. Even in Israel, so you can't even be like, you know, it's fuck all Israelis either. You gotta be nuanced, gang. Don't let that Hitler virus, don't let that Nazi virus creep into your heart and turn you anti-Semitic, because truly they are not all like this, bro.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, bro. It's like, I hate how like people always like try to they look at one example of something and then they deem it like that's how it all is. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody will look at one perspective, they have one interaction, and just think that like everyone from that, because of this one interaction, this whole group is just like this one person I interacted with. It's like it makes no sense to think like that.
Oh, wait a second. I thought she was talking about Palestinians. These people feel they're superior because they are Jews. Superior to less religious Jews and to non-Jews. Okay, for sure, bet.
For months, Israel looked like a society on the brink of internal rupture.
Now there are signs that more secular Israelis are considering leaving the country, with one recent poll suggesting 1 in 3 Israelis.
I will not raise my kids in a country which is not democratic.
In the long term, if the situation will be so bad, it's worsening every day, we will find a place to live outside Israel. We all have European passports.
Then October 7th. And with it, one of the most powerful forces that sustained settler colonies returned to the center. The fight for survival.
Right.
It's important to note that despite all their differences, the overwhelming majority of Jews in Israel believe in the dispossession of Palestinians and the colonization of their land.
So most of them, okay. So there's a lot of them though that they on this bullshit though.
Regardless of what they identify as.
Yeah, what does this article say?
Of their land.
Overwhelming majority of Jewish Israelis share genocidal belief that there are no innocent people in Gaza. Well, goddamn. Well, if it's most of them, then yeah, yikes.
Yeah, yikes, dude.
Regardless of what they identify as. Settler colonies are born
including seculars, yup. But we already addressed that. They the most evil ones, the secular Jewish Zionists.
through violence. It's the intrinsic DNA of this society, and it's the only thing that can restore unity between them when everything else starts falling apart. In many ways, the occupation.
Why they so evil, bro? Look at this. They popping balloons. You gotta have mad hatred in your heart to pop balloons, bro.
When everything else starts
it's like,
falling
fuck your red, green, and white and black balloons, bro. Like, god damn, they can't even hang balloons?
apart.
Bro.
In many ways, the occupation has always functioned as the one unifying project of Israeli society. And the Gaza genocide took this to a whole other level. The violence unleashed by Israeli settlers defies description.
The war is not just with Hamas, the war with all the civilians.
Today is 10 times worse than yesterday, 100 times worse than the first day. Gaza is collapsing.
I can hear Hamas being pulverized, and it's the greatest sound I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, what? Who says shit like that?
The images are burned into the world's memory. And throughout it all, the majority of the settlers not only participated, but they cheered it on.
We are looking for babies, but there is no babies left.
What babies? Say that again.
What?
Looking for babies, but there are no babies left.
Like,
bro.
what?
These people, man. They
what?
just as bad as the white supremacists in America, bro. You know what I'm saying? They the same. You gotta see that. It's the same shit, man.
So,
Bro, it just shows how
moral collapse
fucked human mentality can really get, bro. Humans, like, you don't really think about it because we're living in such a, like, we live in like a bubble kind of thing, bro. Like, we're just minding our own business, just focusing on working a 9 to 5, like working, coming home, being with our families, and then going to sleep, and then doing the same thing over and over again. But then, like, when you look outside of the bubble and you just look at humanity for what it actually is, bro, people are fucked up, bro. People can be evil, bro. Like, literally, people can be evil, bro, and not give any fucks. Like, they will not feel any remorse for the evil that they are committing, bro. And it's just how people been like this since the beginning of time, bro. And like, when you just sit down and think about it, it's like, damn, bro. Like, the fact that we live in a civil society, it's like, it comes with its blessings and curses, bro. But definitely one of its blessings is that we don't fully grasp the evil of humanity. I say that's like a blessing in a way, because like, we don't gotta know what it's like all the way. But I feel like sooner or later we all are. Like, we're all being distracted right now, bro. We're all being distracted, and sooner or later the distractions are all gonna go away, and the real plan of what this program wants to do with the world is going to sow itself, and we're all gonna feel it, bro. Unless we're able to make it out, unless someone's able to just, sliver their way through the top. Unless you're at the top, you are not safe. It don't matter how rich you are. Unless you're at the top, you're not safe. So that's just gonna come soon, bro. It's coming soon.
The entire world, isolating the colony more and more as a pariah on the global stage. But isolation has its own effect. The more the world recoiled, the more Israeli society retreated into a siege mentality, a belief that survival depended on unity against this hostile outside world. And that instinct pushed the settlers to band together, even as their society fractured from within. This is why war has always been so essential to Israel, because it's the only thing that can bring the Jewish settlers together. It's the artificial heartbeats
We'll bring
required
anybody
to keep
together.
the
Like,
corpse
bro,
alive.
when you literally think about it, literally, if you look at the world, bro, we are so fucking diverse. Like we are so separated, bro, by some of the stupidest things. It's like we're separated by race, we're separated by gender, we're separated by politics, we're separated by religion. Like we're separated by so much things. Like at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all one, blah, blah, blah. But nobody want to hear that shit, right? Nobody cares about unity, bro, dude. Everyone wants somebody to hate. So unless there is one common enemy that all of us as humans get to, go against, there's always going to be separation, which sucks. There's never going to be real unity, which really fucking sucks. Like there's a little piece of me that really believes that there is a chance at unity without having to have a common enemy, but it's like it's damn near impossible. Like say aliens came to Earth right now, like aliens showed themselves, and they came in a aggressive manner where they wanted to take over the fucking world and wanted to use us for like a farm or whatever the fuck, bro. Humans will all come together to attack these fucking aliens, dude. We all of us would look at each other and be like, you know what? I don't care what religion you're in. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what nationality you are. I don't care what side of politics you're on. Let's come together and let's get this one common enemy. And then that's literally the only way for unity on this planet Earth, bro. So low-key, like sometimes I'd be wishing that aliens would come and attack, but at the same time, like sometimes I wish we didn't have to have aliens in order for us to all just be kumbaya and shit, you know?
This war is so highly popular in Israeli public opinion, or in Jewish Israeli public opinion. 93% of the Israelis support this war. In no democracy, there is such a figure in a survey about any kind of question. And this comes after 2.5 years of another war.
What we have,
bro, these people love war, man. This is insane. These people love war. It must be because they not really feeling it like that, right? Well, if shit was popping off in their neck of the woods, the way how they're inflicting suffering on the people in Lebanon, the people in Gaza, the people in Iran, I promise you they wouldn't love war this much.
It's a collapse, a social collapse. It's also psychological collapse.
Yeah, it's only
it has to do
winning.
with the fact that Israelis have lost connection with reality.
With their souls? It would seem they've lost connection with their souls?
There is a trend here, and the trend is towards the collapse of Zionism.
And all of this is not just bad for the soul of a nation, it's also bad for business. The Israeli economy was already bad before the genocide in Gaza and only got worse after, with tens of thousands of businesses going bankrupt, tourism stopping, Israel's credit score lowered, and foreign investments withdrawing. The economy is also held together mostly by the secular Jews and the high-tech industry, many of whom are emigrating and leaving the country for their safety and out of fears that Israeli democracy is dying. The judicial overhaul that got people in the streets months before would also have majorly hurt the economy by making Israel a place unsafe for businesses to operate in. One Israeli economist called it the end of democracy and almost the end of the world. And their economy was hurt from the outside too, through boycotts, divestments, and disruptions to their business.
Israel's only southern port on the Red Sea, the Eilat port, is at a standstill, hit hard by Houthi attacks linked to the Gaza war.
The cost of this war is already running into billions. In Israel, the economy is partially shut down, and Washington is also pouring millions of dollars every day into military operations.
Man.
The big story in the end is what people believe. Their economic crisis is something that happens to a lot of countries, but the difference is that in Greece or in Argentina, nobody said, okay, well, this country or this state will not exist anymore. We should think about a different state now. Well, maybe there's going to be a new currency. Maybe there's going to be a new policy. Maybe there's going to be a tough period of time and then some recovery. But when we're talking
you
about,
gotta remember, this is a fake nation that was artificially created less than 100 years ago. So there is no reason to believe that it should continue, right?
what individuals are thinking, if they don't believe in a future, if they see this as the end, then the capitalist logic is such that there is no future. Instead, they take out their money and leave. And this is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
The irony is that the settler colony is built on stories of surviving extermination, from ancient times to Nazi Germany to today's world that they believe is constantly threatening them.
Right.
Their narrative frames destruction as something that comes from the outside. And yet, the unraveling we see today...
Imagine being racist and evil and constantly crying and playing the victim. Ooh, we don't even have to imagine what that looks like. We see that all the time over here.
Is largely self-inflicted. They undermine their own institutions, oversee their own corruption, sow discord amongst their own people, and launch genocidal campaigns that murder hundreds of thousands and destroy both their own humanity and their legitimacy in the world. They do all that in the name of remaining on what they claim is their land, while at the same time grabbing their second passport and fleeing the very homeland they claim is a
this is what they do. This is what they always done. Run!
essential for their survival. Somewhere beneath the surface, the settlers know the project cannot last forever. And rather than face that reality, the anxiety it produces is channeled into constant war. Because it brings them together, because it's profitable, because it serves the interests of outside powers. But the more they thrash and fight, and the more they fall apart, the closer they bring the colony to its own inevitable collapse.
Mm-hmm. And that's the scariest thing, though, with these people, bro. People like BB. They seem like the type of people, bro, where it's like, if they come to the conclusion that this shit's gonna collapse, they're just gonna hit the self-destruct button. And you know which self-destruct button I'm talking about. The big one.
Oh, hell no. Let's not do that.
Like, if we can't have this land, nobody can have this land.
Nah, let's not do that.
But hopefully it doesn't have to come to that. But y'all let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time.
I don't even know, bro. All I know is that, like, bro, whatever's going on is fucking crazy. And this is all part of the...
I would rather be dead.
It's all part of the plan, man. I already know it is, dude. It's all part of the plan. It's all just part of the fucking distraction that they try to keep us distracted with. It literally distracted us for the Epstein files, bro. Nobody talks about the Epstein files no more, dude. Like, literally, they were saying that literally they're gonna find a way to distract us from the Epstein files, and they found a way, and nobody's talking about it. Like, literally, this is something that was like huge, dude, huge, and that shit just disappeared out of nowhere. But I was just watching that for fun. But let's see. I would rather be dead than work a 9 to 5. I can feel that. I would rather be dead than work a 9 to 5.
I would rather be dead than work a 9 to 5 is a common sentiment that I see online. I've seen it in the recent video that I just posted. I've seen it in many other videos in comment sections, and there's a reason why that this is a lot of the time a top comment, that so many people agree with this. And you might be thinking, well, this is crazy. Like, obviously, people will not actually choose death over working a job. But the idea here, and I would agree with that, but there is an idea to be taken from this, which is working a job nowadays in 2026, in the life that we're living right now in our society, is worse than death. Working this job and living this life where you're not really able to sustain even a mediocre life at this point. Where
What the fuck, dude? Oh god, my shit lagging right now, bro.